Hello, my name is Blazej, and together we will look at the Python application structure. Before we created a script, which will create savers for you and disable existing savers. For this we defined the function called disable all savers. This is a pretty useful function, so let's take a look how we can make it even more useful. We actually want to make it accessible through other scripts. Let's rename our function. Let's call it setPassThrough on all. So we want to make it variable which tool to change. In this case, we wrote saver. Now we put a variable in there. That's called regID. And the second thing we want to do is to give a variable for the pass-through. So let's call this value. And now we have to put the variables in here. And that's it. Now we need to replace our function call. In this case, we want to disable all savers. That's it. Let's check if it works. We didn't change much, only made this function more reusable. Now let's save it so we can use it in other scripts. For this, let's take a look at the Python application structure. There are mainly two kinds of Python scripts. First one are scripts, which are basically executables or starting scripts. They should be accessible from your environment to start them. In our case, Fusion has its own folder for scripts. It's called the Fusion script comp folder. And the other type is the so-called lib site packages folder. Here you can put additional packages or modules, and they are accessible from all your Python environment. You can use this for libraries or bigger applications, so you can put in user interfaces, application logic, or modules in there. In our case, I have the scripts comp folder, in this case, my custom Fusion scripts folder, and here is my triggering script, save tool. The other folder is the lib site packages folder inside of Python. Let's take a look. Here are libraries like PyOnScript or ODE, which we can access from the Python environment. What we want to do is create a library called Fusion Helpers, and inside it we want to create a file called comp, and inside this will be our function. But since this is Fusion specific, we don't want to create it in the global site packages folder. Instead, we want to define our own Fusion packages folder. I created this folder called Fusion Packages. And now let's take a look how to set up Python so it can use it. Also, if you have different Python environments and they don't work as expected, this is the method to fix your Python environment. For this, you have two variables. The first one is your system path. There should be two things inside it. The Python install path, so you can access Python from everywhere in your command prompt. The second one is a script path, which will be created by some scripts and is not there by default. So here it is, for example. It's empty, but some scripts will need it. They will also store all the executables inside there. For our purpose, it's optional. The second environment variable is Python specific. It's the Python path variable. And this will tell Python to use other folders as site packages folder. So in our environment variables, let's check the path. Here it is. We have our Python script path and Python itself. And on the other hand, we have a Python path, and this points to a Fusion packages folder. You have to create this manually if it's not there. Okay. So now in our Fusion packages folder, let's create a new folder called Fusion Helpers. And inside this, let's create the comp Python file. And now we move our function inside this file. Here it is. Let's save this. Last thing to do is to import our new library. Since Fusion Packages is our root path, we need to import Fusion Helpers dot and now our file name comp. We don't need the Python ending. By default, we also need this path if we call our function. Although there's still one step missing, let's take a look at what will happen. It can't find the module. We have to do one last thing to make Python aware of this folder as a module. We need to create a Python file called __init__.py. The script inside this will be triggered when the module is loaded, but right now it can be empty. So let's retry this. Now it worked. Now we can use the setPassThroughOnAll by importing this module. Let's do a little fine-tuning. We don't want to write the path on each function call, so there are two things we can do. First of all, we can say import it as, let's say, comp helper. And now Python will treat this as comp helper. So in a function call, we could say comp helper. Let's try it. If we want to get rid of the path completely, we can say from Fusion helper comp import and now set pass-through on all. This will import the function directly. If we want to import everything which is inside the file, we simply use a wildcard. Now we can get rid of this. It still works. You have to be careful though that you don't override existing functions. So that's it. We created our Fusion helper module library.